let's hit the early week waiver wire. The guy who's my number one pickup last week. And just as a reminder, I'll go more in depth into all of this on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. But this is just our rapid reaction waiver wire guys that seem to pop and are out there in over 50% of the leagues. And quick thumbs up button if you enjoy the content while you hear it. Would be so greatly appreciated. But Treylon Burks, 51% rostered. Last call on him. As mentioned, 70 yards, 4 catches. He fell on a fumble as well from Derrick Henry on a 69-yard catch by him. But just a playmaker, running the most routes he's run yet, second most on the team. So he's emerging as a near every down player. And similar to Christian Watson, all we need is a shot for some of these talented rookies. They finally get it. They sometimes will often blow up down the stretch. And their schedule is not too shabby down the stretch. Tough matchup with the Eagles next week. But after that, it's looking pretty green. So I like Treylon Burks. Would probably, again, be the number one pickup this week.
And the aforementioned Zay Jones, only 24% owned. You made you guys eat a little bit of crow. Caught 11 out of 14 targets for $145. I mean, if that's any sort of even remotely typical game for this guy, you should pick him up immediately.
And this is his fourth time seeing double-digit targets. That kind of blew my mind. He's had 11, 10, 10, and now 14 target days on the year, mixing a handful of 9 and 8 target days. It's not like this came out of completely nowhere. Zay Jones has been really involved. This was obviously his best game of the season and his career, though. So good to see him. And if Trevor Lawrence is truly taking that next step, some of those throws to Zay Jones in particular were some next level, like chemistry level throws. We also talked about Mike White and how he was probably the biggest overall storyline, how much he's going to unlock for these Jets, especially Garrett Wilson. But he himself, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns. Remember, last year he had a 400-yard, 4-touchdown day. The guy just is competent at minimum, but I think it's a really good scheme when anybody else has been in there other than Zach Wilson. They put up pretty big numbers. So I really like Mike White as a potential streamer down the stretch. A very easy schedule, too, for the Jets moving forward here. So big news for all their receivers. It also includes Elijah Moore, too. He's only 23% rostered at this point. He had 64 yards and a touchdown. All he might need is a QB to unlock him and get back to, after leading the team in yards and touchdowns last year, he could be right back there. So good to see Mike White bringing this level.
You might as well continue with the Jets theme and talk about their backfield because you got a couple guys in there also. So
true.
What do you think about them?
Yeah, so Michael Carter did get hurt. We'll see how serious it is. It's an ankle injury. Unclear yet what the severity is. But the big thing there was James Robinson was a healthy scratch today. And obviously we'd think he'd be the next man up. But that suggests he's no higher than 4th on the depth chart. So looking at where did the carries go, what happened in his stead, Ty Johnson did maintain that third down back roll. He had an explosive run, too. So 5 carries, 62 yards and a score. He's 1% rostered and definitely looks like he'll be involved with a quarterback that loves to pepper his running backs. But the other guy, the one that was really surprising, was Zonovan White, getting 14 carries.
0% owned, folks.
0% rostered. Now getting 69 yards on the ground. Had 3 catches for 34 yards. Nobody even really knew that who this guy was, but he was active ahead of James Robinson. And in his first ever action, I mean, he was looking pretty damn good every time he touched the rock. I was like, damn, this kid actually looks really solid. So Knight might be the guy that you end up going after. Definitely think you want to check out Ty Johnson, though, for the receiving upside. And then maybe James Robinson does reemerge here. But again, Ty Johnson, 10 of 11 third down snaps. Zonovan White, though, was in for 30 snaps after Michael Carter left. 30 of the, I believe it was 45 snaps without Michael Carter on the field. So that's no joke. Over half the snaps went to him. So keep Zonovan White as somebody in your waiver wire radar for sure.
A guy that has been up and down like crazy, who we had extremely high hopes for, Isiah McKenzie. He's 33% owned.
Yeah.
Had a great Thanksgiving. 6 catches, 10 targets, 96 yards, and a touchdown, all while sitting on my bench. Because why the hell would you play him?
I don't think anybody that had him would have played him. But because the week before, he was a 40% snap player. This week, he was right close to 75. So if we just knew he was going to be a 75% snap player each and every week, now we could feel comfortable starting him. I still, even after this blow up, have my hesitancy, but I certainly think
the Bills are weird, man.
They are weird. Like, they're explosive, and yet they suck sometimes, too.
Allen has been underthrowing, like, balls, like, a lot. It's like, I don't know. He's great, obviously. He's fun to pull for, but he has been a little off target a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last 2 waiver guys we have down here, Van Jefferson, 23% rostered, 3 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. There's injuries all around him, but it looks like he might be the number 1 receiver. Don't be shocked if they shut down. We already know Cooper Kupp, unlikely to come back. Maybe even Allen Robinson. They're probably like, why even bother with this guy? So maybe Van emerges as the number one weapon there down the stretch. And then Josh Kelley didn't do much, but was back, made a healthy scratch out of Sony Michel, was playing again ahead of Isaiah Spiller. So if we're looking for that handcuff, that valuable guy, that if something happens to a man, Austin Eckler, just absolutely love the guy. But if something happens, we saw Justin Jackson be the running back one last year in fill-in duty. It seems like Josh Kelley is right back into that clear-cut number 2 role. So he warrants some more waiver wire consideration as well.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.